Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lacey A for those of you who do not know, and this is Prophetic Dream Comics, where I illustrate what God has shown me in dreams and put it on YouTube so people can become encouraged and enlightened and hopefully blessed. Okay, so those who have been watching my videos, which is a few, but thank you, I appreciate it. I actually am doing something different this time. So normally I would just draw it and then post the pictures in like a comic panel. But now I'm thinking that I want to just tape me or record me drawing and speak over as I'm drawing. That way it can kind of feel more inclusive and not so separated, like you're just staring at a picture and not watching it evolve. Okay, so having said all of that, today I'm going to talk about a dream that I had actually 2 nights ago. So I was walking along this path and I was walking basically up a mountain, and I came towards this cave, and I was accompanied by 2 other animals, which I'm gonna reveal later what they were. But I was accompanied by 2 other animals, which I didn't draw here, and I came to a point where I can no longer walk the path. I had to actually climb. And in front of me was a cave. Like it's not as big as what I'm drawing here, but it was big enough that I couldn't ignore it, yet small enough where I could climb over it. And instinctively I knew I had to climb over it, but there was an eye staring at me, and I knew just from the eye what type of animal it was, and it was a snake, right? And so when I saw the snake, I was like, oh snap, how am I gonna climb on top or over this cave on this big old rock and get to the other side, because I needed to get over the other side of the mountain. And I watched the 2 animals that was with me. So I'm just going to say it, they were 2 rhinos. And I'll tell you later why I believe God showed 2 rhinos in my dream. So there were 2 rhinos, one on the left and one on the right, and they were actually baby rhinos. And I watched them effortlessly scale this huge rock and go over to the other side. And so for a moment, just a brief moment in the dream, I hesitated. Then I said, in my dream, I said, if it bite me, I can always get help on the other side. Like, I knew I wasn't gonna die. I just didn't want to get bit, but it wasn't enough to make me not go on. So I just kind of sucked it up, climbed over the thing, and I got to the other side. And the amazing thing was that when I climbed, the snake didn't do anything, right? It just sat there. So the image itself was intimidating, but it didn't actually do anything. Like, I knew that even if it did harm me, that I wouldn't die, right? And so I feel like in the dream, the Lord revealed to me He revealed to me a couple of things that I wanted to share. And it's like we're walking on this path and we get to a point where God is calling us higher. And every time we go higher, Satan is always there. Like he's waiting for a point where he can impede your elevation, right? And so it's like we get intimidated by the snakes or the circumstances, but here's what God revealed to me. The snake was under the rock. It was under the rock, meaning if we know, the Bible says God is the rock, right? So we look at Psalms 18:31. It says, Hold on, let me find it here. It if you look at Psalms 18, chapter 18, verse 31, it said, "For who is God besides the Lord, and who is the rock except our God?" Right? So it's like anything that Satan tries to do, he's still under God's authority. Like he's under him. He can't be over him. Right? So anything that he does, any position that he tries to get in, we know that he likes to be God-like and appearing like God, So Satan is described as someone who comes as light, and we know that God is light and he's like light. We know that he likes to roar like a lion, but he's not necessarily a lion. So he does things in the likeness of God, and he's in vicinities where God is, so that he can confuse and impede and block the destiny of God's children. But I'm here to say that nothing can be done. Satan can't do anything without God's permission. And honestly, once you realize this, like I did in the dream, scaling that cave or huge boulder was not like you have to, your faith is what makes your life a little bit easier, right? Actually, not a little bit, a whole lot. Like once you understand God's character and you understand who he is and you understand that he cannot lie, right? The walk becomes literally a piece of cake. It's like, okay, I see you there. I see you there, Satan. I see you, you're posing as someone to strike. But in this dream, he literally did not do anything. He just stared at me. Like he watched me go from the bottom to the top, and he could not move. He could not move. It was almost like he wasn't instructed to, right? So it's like, even in the story of Job, right? God gave Satan permission over certain things in Job's life as far as the disasters that was happening to him, right? But he couldn't take his life. And so that was very encouraging to me. And what's interesting is that so the second revelation that God revealed was that through the rhinos, right? So I'm like, I love animals, I love National Geographic, all these things. I think the world is beautiful. But this, I would say, probably the first time that I've dreamt of two baby rhinos. And I was starting to study them, and I realized through the studying that, in the researching, that rhinos have no predators, virtually no predators except humans, right? Which is the same for us. Like virtually, with our intellect and the ability to invent, we're quote unquote the top of the food chain, right? The only other thing that threatens rhinos, who are endangered, by the way, if you didn't know, critically endangered, are other humans, right? So other people in our lives, like people you have to be careful for. The second thing about rhinos is that they don't see very well. Their vision is very poor, but their hearing and their sense of smell is out of this world, right? So they do most of their living by hearing, which is, as Christians, what we're supposed to do, right? So they know that they can't see well, so they depend on their hearing and the partnerships that they have with other animals in the wild to help them live and have a fruitful life. And I believe that's how God is asking us to live, right? So he wants us to see him by hearing him. We don't see everything, and we don't have to. If you trust God, he's all you need. And that's all I have for today. And I hope that didn't sound too corny, but I just really want y'all to find and study and meditate on scriptures that have to do with rocks and the Lord being there for you, because he is, right? Everyone is under the rock, including Satan, meaning he can't do anything to you. I hope this helped, and I'll see you next week. Bye.